What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and I hope you're all doing well today. While we've yet to get an announcement for patch 9.2's release date, great changes have been coming in every build for the last couple months. One of the most recent changes was made to the unlocking requirements for flying in Zereth Mortis. Frankly, this is probably the best and easiest Pathfinder achievement to date in the last couple expansions now that they've reworked it, as it requires very little time invested to unlock, though there is still the dreaded T word, time gating, which is part of this achievement as well. But before I get started, I just want to say hello and thank you so much to the newest patron of the channel, Alex B. I sincerely appreciate your generosity and hope to be as helpful as I am in the future to you. So to fly in Zereth Mortis, we must complete the meta achievement Unlocking the Secrets, and this is made up of 6 individual achievements. Explore Zereth Mortis is quite literally what it sounds like, roaming around the new zone and seeing all 17 different subsections of the map. Zereth Mortis is honestly a very aesthetically pleasing zone, possibly one of the nicest zones in Shadowlands, and it's a huge breath of fresh air compared to the bland scenery that was Korthia. I honestly get a very Jak and Daxter-ish vibe when I'm bopping around in the main part of Korthia, and I think it's because of all these big floating orbs with these cursive marks on them, because they kind of remind me of, you know, those little precursor orb egg-looking things that you collected. Either way, I loved Jak and Daxter, so that is a big plus in my book. There's also a good variety of scenery in Zereth Mortis, ranging from things like deserts to mountains, and tons of hexagonal pillars and junk everywhere, so there is quite a lot to take in when first getting your feet wet in Zereth Mortis. It's funny because you actually can't get your feet wet there since the water is unlike any water you've ever seen because you can walk on it. Man, what will they think of next? Air you can walk on too? Bad jokes and lame references aside, Zereth Mortis has one huge advantage over most other zones, and it's something that's gotten really tiresome, especially if you remember places like Nazjatar and Mechagon. There are actually open paths that take you around like 70% of the zone, so you don't have to wade through 10,000 mobs every time you want to go do a quest. This is something that just drives me insane when I'm on a class that can't stealth because some zones are just flat out inundated with enemies. Thankfully, that is not the case with Zereth Mortis. Sure, some sections of the map have more enemies than others, but it's not like stepping through a minefield covered in barbed wire just to do a daily quest there. This is something I really wanted to stress early in this video because I'm sure it's something that bugs a lot of other people too. It was actually pretty enjoyable to explore all of Zereth Mortis, except like the one area where it's a lot of desert because there's tons of Mossworn, but even then it wasn't unreasonable. Our next achievement is Curious Collections. This requires you to find 5 hidden treasures in Zereth Mortis, and there are a ton of these, so this is a pretty lax requirement. I think to be exact, there are 27 treasures in the zone, so finding 5 isn't really much of an issue. Path to Enlightenment is another very simple achievement that you can do very quickly, as it's basically just completing 3 side quest chains. Each quest chain is maybe like 4 quests, I think, if I remember right, and all of them are like your usual kill 12 of this thing, collect 10 of that thing, you know, pretty normal stuff. I'll avoid spoilers, but there is a cute reward from the Small Pet Problems quest chain, and Not All Are Lost will bring back a familiar face from the Tazavest quest chain. Tales of Exile is arguably the most annoying achievement of the bunch, at least as of right now on the 9.2 PTR when I tested it. Basically, you just have to collect 7 scrolls lying around the open area of Zereth Mortis, and that's it. I will be doing a separate video exclusively on the locations of all these scrolls since they're scattered all over this pretty big zone, though they did add yellow markers onto the mini-map when you're near one, so that does help a little bit. They do have a respawn time, and it's kinda lengthy, which is pretty annoying, and hopefully that gets changed because there's gonna be a ton of people going to collect these at once, and it'll be really annoying to have to sit and camp an item like it's classic WoW or something just to get this achievement that you need to fly. Adventures in Zereth Mortis is another very simple achievement. Kill 10 rare enemies in the zone, and there's 29 of them in total, so there's plenty of different spawns to go around for everyone. Lastly, A Means to an End. This achievement is probably the one that's going to annoy some people, but I'll explain why it's a good thing in a bit, I promise. To get this achievement, you have to complete the 7th chapter of the Zereth Mortis campaign. There used to be an 8th chapter, but that was mysteriously removed in the most recent PTR build, presumably to be added back with patch 9.2.5, I don't know, I haven't done any digging on it. With patch 9.2's launch, the first 3 chapters of the campaign will be open immediately, and after that, each week another chapter is going to open up. This means that no one at all could possibly have flying prior to the 5th week of the patch. Now, this probably sounds really horrible to people who are used to the more grindy-oriented Pathfinder achievements like Battle for Azeroth, where you just had to hit Revered with a new reputation, and if you play a lot, then you're more likely to push through it faster than other people. However, like a lot of things coming in 9.2, I think Blizzard is actually trying to lessen the need for people to have to log in literally every day just to stay caught up on something as basic and universally needed as flying. Battle for Azeroth's Pathfinder Part 2 achievement was a really good example of feeling obligated to log in literally every day, because you needed to hit Revered with both of the new reputations in Mechagon and Nazjatar to unlock flying everywhere, and you needed to do your daily quests and farm every rare every day because they gave rep, and that became a regimen of necessity because both of these zones were jam-packed to the brim with annoying enemies, so being able to fly around them or away from them would be really helpful. Zereth Mortis, on the other hand, is much more lenient in its level design and layout. There is literally a giant path that makes a ring all the way around the main part of the zone, and there's paths branching off of that main part of the zone. And unlike Korthia, with its random Moss-sworn lieutenants riding around that are somehow always in your way, Zereth Mortis doesn't really have those nuisances. Sure, once you stray off the paths, you'll find Devourers and Moss-sworns and other baddies, but you can reasonably traverse a majority of the zone with little confrontation. Frankly, I'm one of the weirdos that likes exploring things on foot for a while, at least for the first couple weeks, because it lets me figure out how to get around the place. Of course, I've been doing that for the last couple months on the PTR, but that's besides the point. Flying, of course, makes the process of doing your daily quests and farming rares and treasures and whatever so much faster and easier, and the zone does have a lot of very picturesque scenery from the sky as well. But I think this is honestly one of the best flying unlock requirements they've put together now that they removed the previous version, which involved this new Cipher of the First One system and required literally having to wait for a filling up bar progress thing, and it was just bad, so I'm glad they got rid of that. The fact these achievements are all very easy to do is a big plus, and it also means that even if you come into the expansion patch late or haven't resubbed until you see how this first month of the patch plays out, you can immediately catch up to other people on the flying unlock process, because everybody's going to be waiting on the campaign unlocks anyhow. Or even if you just happen to miss a week of doing the campaign quest because of obligations outside of the game, it just means you can do it whenever you have time to and you aren't really punished for it. One thing I hear a lot of people have grievances with is that Blizzard and the development team doesn't respect players' time, and I think this is a good example of saying, you can actually get all of this done, and you don't have to log in literally every day for an hour to do a rare farm of the entire zone and to do all the dailies, and even if you only have 1 day a week you can play, you can log in and still stay pretty caught up, which is pretty great in my opinion. Anyways folks, I just wanted to share my thoughts and insight on this change to flying in patch 9.2. Hopefully this version of the Pathfinder unlock is received favorably by most of the community, and I really do think it's a pretty good compromise and doesn't punish players for not grinding out every rare every day for 4 weeks straight just to farm currencies and reputation and wait for a cipher bar to fill up or whatever. I'm sure there are folks out there that prefer that style of unlock because they have more time to do it and then they can get ahead, but having it be more relaxed means, at least for me, I get more time to raid and do keys and make videos, so I personally appreciate that. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like or maybe a comment about your thoughts on these changes. As always, my appreciation and gratitude to all of my viewers and especially my patrons, who all help make these Shiba Shenanigans possible. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.